My name is Jenny Salisbury. I am the Director of Public Advocacy for A Woman's Place, which is the only domestic violence organization serving Bucks County, Pennsylvania. As Kathy mentioned, I'm not from the 92nd Street Y, but I have had the pleasure of forming a relationship with some of the individuals that work there, and they really supported our partnership this year, which was absolutely fantastic. They were one of the reasons they helped us get into a lot of press outside of Bucks County and a lot of recognition outside of Bucks County, which you will hear about in the Giving Tuesday Bucks case study. But I just wanted to go over a little history so that people who maybe weren't familiar with the movement had an understanding of how it came about. It was started at a time where charitable giving was relatively flat. In regards to the economy, there were a lot of government cutbacks for funding, and Henry Timms, who was the executive director of the 92nd Street Y, was really unhappy with kind of the feeling of the giving, or the feeling of the holiday season and what it seemed to be at that point, which was really heavily focused on consumerism and commercialism, and wanted to find a way to try to turn that around and remind people what the holiday season should be about, which is about giving. And in addition, they wanted to try to bring back excitement to philanthropic giving. And so this idea of a day of giving to kick off the giving season came up, and that this is where Giving Tuesday came from. So they started it the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So it followed Black Friday and Cyber Monday, two of your biggest shopping days. And it was a way to talk about all that money you saved on those sale days, now put that to good use. The idea came from the 92nd Street Y, and then the United Nations came on and partnered. And the other reason, it was to set a tone not just for that one day of giving, but for the entire giving season. So it was really important to them to raise, to do a lot on that one day, but also to keep the momentum going throughout the holiday season. Who participated in Giving Tuesday? As Kathy mentioned, in year one, there were 2,500 partners from all 50 states. In year two, that grew to 10,000 partners throughout the U.S. and across the world. So those that you see up here on the panel, Giving Tuesday Bucks, Giving Tuesday Philadelphia, Be More Gives More. There was Giving Tuesday Canada, Giving Tuesday Mexico. So there was a lot of growth. And then as you see, there are, they had a lot of corporate sponsors that came on as well. Adobe, Discover, Gap. So well-known people that carry some trust with their consumers and their patrons. So what did Giving Tuesday do? They based their whole movement around online engagement and social media. And they did this for a few different reasons. One, that social media and online engagement is pretty instantaneous. It's really fast. You don't have to put a stamp on a letter and wait, for the post office to sort it, and then it to go out, and then somebody to get it in their mail, and then it get lost under something else. So it's pretty instantaneous. It's also less expensive than mail, and there's the opportunity for exponential growth. So if you send out a tweet or you send out a Facebook message and somebody that follows you then shares it or sends it out to their networks, then it's kind of that, that stone thrown into the pond and the ripples afterwards. It keeps growing and growing and growing, and your reach is, it's far beyond what you yourself could do. They were very, very purposeful around creating Giving Tuesday as a hashtag and branding it that way so that people got used to seeing it that way and always used it that way. And it was also very purposeful to let people know that it really was an online-driven campaign. And then they cashed in on trends in pop culture. In 2013, the Oxford Dictionary named selfie the word of the year. So photos that people take of themselves and post online, which I haven't. Yeah. And so Giving Tuesday took that and something that can seem very self-focused and tried to turn it into something positive and something unselfish. And so did unselfies and asked people to post photos of themselves doing something good and share those with their networks. And there were more than 7,000 unselfies posted on Giving Tuesday this past year. In addition, they also engage large corporations like we talked about with the partners. And again, that brand trust is really important, because if you've shopped someplace like The Gap for years and all of a sudden The Gap is supporting a movement like Giving Tuesday, there's a much better chance that you might get on board doing that. And so I would, highly recommend corporate sponsorship. Corporate partners are really, really important. Was it successful? Absolutely. The numbers themselves will show it. There was marked increases from the day before, or the Tuesday after Thanksgiving in 2011 to the first Giving Tuesday, which was held on November 27, 2012. Blackbaud reported more than $10 million in donations that day, which was a 53% increase from the same day the year before. Donor Perfect saw a 46% increase in online donations, and the average gift increased by 25%. So not only are people giving more, but more people are giving. And so that growth, you're seeing growth on two sides, which is extremely important. And now you have a whole new pool of prospects that you can cultivate relationships with. In 2013, they saw a 90% growth in online giving from the year before. So Blackbaud processed more than $19 million. The average online gift was $142, which was up 40%. And again, transaction volume went up by 36%. So it was absolutely successful. I anticipate it being even more successful this year. So it's a really exciting time to get involved in this type of movement.